I'm Sandra Nickel. I was Sandy when I was at Newton High School, and I am incredibly honored to receive the Distinguished Alumni Award for 2025. Newton High School prepared me for an incredible life I had no idea was ahead of me. For example, French was my language, and I was even president of the French club. And at the time, I would have never guessed that I was going to go on and live in Paris for 4 years and in the French speaking part of Switzerland for 21 years and counting. At Newton High School, I was also the news and editorials editor for the Newtonian, and all that writing and opinion making really served me well as I went on and got my law degree. I worked for a congressman in Washington, D.C. I clerked for a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals, and then I went on to work for two giant New York City law firms. Um, but that writing foundation and the time I spent in after school musicals also helped me when I went on for a more creative life. I studied short filmmaking at New York University, but more importantly, I went on and got my Master's of Fine Arts in writing for children and young adults. That has been the career that I've loved most. And so write both fiction and nonfiction picture books. And it's a mission of mine to celebrate extraordinary individuals who've been nearly forgotten by history. It's also a mission of mine to write stories about those who are different or who feel different. When I was at Newton High School, I would have never guessed while I was doing all these different activities, junior varsity cheerleader, president of the Usherettes, running track. I would have never guessed that I was autistic. Sure, things seemed to be a challenge, maybe more of a challenge for me than other people, but I only found out a few years ago why. So now, with my picture books, I'm trying to write about children who feel different and lift them up and emphasize it's okay to be different, and that in fact, sometimes what makes us different is what helps us succeed. Um, I also want to talk a little bit about the values that were reinforced at Newton High School. When I was there, I was really taught the importance of taking responsibility, the importance of being kind, the importance of having respect for everyone, whether they were athletes or musicians or debaters or, you know, um, whatever activities anyone chose to do. These values, I think, more than anything, have helped me as I've traveled through life. Sure, it was an incredibly incredible honor to work for the congressman and for the judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals. It was a true honor to do that. But what I'm most proud of are the awards I've won for my picture books. Awards for, quote, affirming the highest values of the human spirit, and, quote, for inviting compassion, imagination, and wonder. Honestly, it doesn't get any better than that. Um, so don't take kindness and respect and taking responsibility for granted, because those traits that were reinforced at Newton High School, more than anything else I was given there, have helped me as I've walked along in this life of mine. Last of all, I want to thank Liz Cohn, who nominated me, and the Distinguished Alumni Award Committee. Honestly, I am incredibly, incredibly honored to be named um, among those who have received the Distinguished Alumni Award. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
Hi, I'm Todd Wedel, a 1996 graduate of Newton High School. I'm humbled to receive the 2025 Distinguished Alumni Award. A little about me. I am married to Adrienne, who is actually a 1998 graduate of Newton High School and a science teacher at the high school currently. I'm very proud of my two children, Trek, who is going to be graduating this year as a 2025 graduate, and Scout, who is a freshman at Newton High School. First, I'd just like to say I loved going to school at Newton High School. I was big into fine arts, and I fondly remember teachers like Keith Woolery and Bill Harshbarger in my time in wind ensemble and the jazz bands at Newton High School. I also remember a lot of the other teachers that emphasized the academic rigor in the classroom, people like Chuck Engel and Barb Umscheid as a calculus teacher. Really set the bar high and set expectations high for their students as well. My career currently is I am a project manager for Hutton down in Wichita. We are a design plus build firm. And I really got my start in construction because my grandfather, Marvin Wedel, was a small residential contractor in town and really discovered my love for construction, the fact that I could deal with people, get to see projects getting built that had a lasting mark on the community, and also get to be outside, which was very important to me. I eventually moved into a project management leadership role for Hutton. I've been really fortunate that there are several projects in Newton that I can put my name on, and a couple come to mind just recently. The New Hope Shelter project at the south end of town. That was a very special one to me because I believe in the values and the mission of the shelter, and to be able to construct a building that I know is going to help people for years to come is just great to see. I've been very, very excited to be a part of the Sand Creek Restoration Project several years back, and that was a neat one to see how we could take and protect the eroding banks of Sand Creek and really make that into a park-like setting that everybody in Newton loves to enjoy. Another project in Wichita that I'm very proud of was the Poet Ethanol Corporate Office Building. This was a really neat one to be a project manager on because there's lots of challenges interfacing with many different structural materials to go into a unique project to make sure that it was successful. And when I look back on that project and the relationships that we built, the leadership that we had during the build, and the product that we delivered to the owner, it's something that I'm just proud of for years to come. To me, volunteerism is very, very important, and it's a big part of who I am. I would credit really my parents, specifically my mom, as being somebody that instilled that in us at an early age. I'm proud of the things that I've done in the community, both within my church and also the world of scouting. Within my church, I go to Trinity Heights. I have been a member of various committees, whether it be trustees or staff parish committee, but probably the biggest thing that I've been proud of from a volunteering standpoint at the church is I was a member of our building committee when we constructed our new sanctuary. Also in my church, I've served as both a youth bell choir director, which was just a lot of fun, teaching young children how to play the bells and growing their appreciation of music. And I've also participated in adult bell choir at church and also a regional bell choir ensemble, Prairie Bronze, in Newton. I get great joy in doing all of that as well. Scouting for me started early on in my life. I am an Eagle Scout, and I'm very proud to say that. My son Trek is also an Eagle Scout, so it kind of goes in the family. I just get a real joy out of helping young people grow in their confidence level through scouting. It's a unique organization where a scout can join in elementary school or early middle school. At that point, they're really not too confident about their lives, but give it time. We're going to put them in outdoor settings that are going to grow their confidence and grow their leadership. And by the time they're in high school and beyond, they are just highly successful young people that Newton can be proud of. I'm extremely proud of the fact that Troop 127 has over 50 Eagle Scouts. I have scouts that have become Army chaplains, others that have served in the military, others that are serving on police forces, and others that are just great businessmen. But the one thing that sets all of these young men apart is they are excellent people of character. And I really think that scouting, and hopefully just a little bit of my influence during their time in scouting, has helped them be the success that I know they are today. My wife and I are third generation Newton residents, and when we graduated from college and were looking for places to call home, it made sense to move back to Newton. And we're proud that we made that decision 25 years ago, and it's been great for our family. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for this honor of being a Distinguished Alumni of Newton High School. My wife and I are proud Newtonians, and we truly believe that volunteerism makes a difference in our community. And so I would encourage everyone, look for ways that you can make a difference within Newton and this community and to make people better around you. Thanks.
Thank you so much for this incredible honor. I am very humbled. I am a proud member of the class of 1976. We graduated during the bicentennial of the United States, so our prom theme was of course, the spirit of 76. My class entered the then brand new high school as sophomores, never having had to be on the low rung of the high school class ladder. Next year, my class will be celebrating its 50th anniversary since graduation, which just seems unbelievable. Some of my favorite Newton High School stories: I was on the first girls golf team. At our very first tournament, we finished without a score because one of our team members lost all her balls and had to drop out. I played violin in the orchestra. I participated in theater. I still love theater to this day, but my only claim to fame was to be the Wicked Witch of the West in Newton High School's Wizard of Oz. After graduation, I once had to order my high school transcript for a job application. When it came, I was so surprised it went all the way back to kindergarten. That potential employer asked me, "How did you get a big fat C in driver's ed?" I answered exactly what Mr. Trigg told me: "You can't get an A if you have a wreck." The teachers at Newton High School laid the very best foundation for us. I was motivated and inspired by them to major in education at the University of Kansas. I actually had the privilege of teaching here at Newton High School before I left for law school. But I made the decision to start law school, and I became a fourth-generation lawyer, following in the footsteps of my dad and granddad and great-granddad, all who practiced law right here in Newton, Kansas. After law school, I practiced law in Wichita, and I eventually became general counsel at Textron Financial Corporation, helping to finance Cessna and Beechcraft aircraft. My job involved finding lawyers to work with in many different countries, and then working with them to determine the best structure and how to comply with their laws in order to protect our interest in the aircraft that we financed. When I started at that job, we were in about 5 different countries. And by the time I retired, we had done business in well over 85 countries. I worked at Textron for 26 years. And I was lucky to work that whole time directly with 2 of my own class of 1976 classmates. I retired from that job about 18 months ago. Now I'm doing some volunteer work for Kansas Legal Services, assisting individuals in need of legal assistance. Again, I am so proud and happy and pleased to accept this incredible honor. My best piece of advice to new graduates is something that I learned at Newton High School. You can't control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you react to it. I'm very proud of the excellent education that I received in the Newton Public Schools. I never felt any less competent as I worked with lawyers all over the United States and all over the world. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kristin Neufeld-Epp. I graduated from Newton High School in 1991. After that, I went to Bethel College and got a degree in elementary education with an emphasis in early childhood education. And when I graduated from there in 1995, I began working in the role that I still am working in today. So New Creation Preschool is an outreach of New Creation Fellowship Church. It began in 1995 with me serving as director and lead teacher, and I continue that work today. It being an outreach of New Creation Fellowship Church means that that community provides incredible financial support, facility support, other kinds of support and program development, and has also provided many, many volunteers and staff members over the years. And I'm ever grateful for that. So it has been 30 years since I have started this work, and the program has grown and developed. One thing that we've maintained the entire time is that this be a program where children are safe to explore, discover, and create. Having been in this job as long as I have, in the same community, in the same location, means that I have the great honor of, over the last few years, starting to get preschoolers whose parents were my preschoolers. That is an incredible honor. There have been thousands of children from the Newton community who have come to this preschool over the last 30 years, and the vast majority of them head on back into the USD 373 school district. And it's fun to maintain those connections and build more connections as these children head on out into the big school, as we call it. Like many of us, back in 2020, with the pandemic beginning, we made some shifts, and there's evidence of those still around out in the universe. Our YouTube channel still has all of the online preschool sessions that I did for free for those 2 years after the pandemic. I had an amazing team of volunteers who came in to help box up supplies that we would send out to children all over the nation into several other countries. And we had a very unique couple of years of preschool. And so that's available for anyone who wants a little trip down that memory lane. At New Creation Preschool now, we are back in the classroom, and we are finding ways for children to explore new things, have new things modeled to them, invite them to participate in trying new things that'll build those skills and concepts they need for kindergarten and beyond. And we also really value hearing from them what they already know. What do they come with? And that is what I would like to let all of you consider. If you are over the age of 10, then you'll have to think back. And if you're 10 years old or younger, you're just right in the prime spot to know the answer to the question, what did you enjoy playing? What did you like to play and act out around the age of 10? What did you like to do? And that may be an indication of what your passion is. You may be able to translate that passion into a career, or you may be able to find a job that actually lets you maintain time with your passion. But that is what I would like to invite you to consider. I have been fortunate enough to be able to have this job align with some of my very youngest memories, where I would play school and I would build things hoping that folks would come and stop by, and I'm doing it now. And that is what I would love to invite you to imagine, knowing that you have something in you that the world needs. And it's wonderful when others can see that. So thank you again for this honor. As many folks in early childhood education know, we are not often considered distinguished. It is notoriously a rather low-wage paying job, long hours, and often not valued for what it is. But I will continue to be a great advocate for the importance of educating and caring for children in those early years of their life. Early childhood lasts until age 7, and in that time they need a very unique type of care and a very unique type of space to really be able to develop into who they already are. So thank you again for this honor.